Not only America, but the world is at war with Islam, literally. Literally. With Islam, with pedos, and with the alphabet soup. The world is at war. Today, with a stroke of a pen, flanked by angel families, President Trump signs proclamation designated February 22nd as National Angel Family Day, the day Lincoln Riley was killed by an illegal alien. He is the greatest president. 47 did not forget these Americans ever, but the left sure did, because it doesn't fit their agenda now, does it? Netflix stock is now plunging at a market opening following its refusal to fire former Obama official Susan Rice after she threatened retribution against Trump supporters. So she's claiming when they get back in office, they're going after all of us. Don't believe me? Hear her own words. By the way, she is on the board members of Netflix.
If these corporations think that the Democrats, when they come back in power, are going to, play by the old rules, and and say, "Oh, never mind, we'll forgive you for all the people you fired, all the policies and principles you've violated, all the laws you've skirted." I think they've got another thing coming. If these corporations think that the Democrats, when they come back in power, are going to, play by the old rules, and say, "Oh, never mind, we'll forgive you for all the people you fired, all the policies and principles."
Wow. Here we go. Former Obama National Security Advisor for alleged racist remarks and threats. Echoing a Laura Looming post, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos rejected the call, prioritizing board independence. Analysts, while the stock hit a 52-week low of 70.22 amid a 3 to 4% industry decline, broader factors like rising debt and market volatility contributed, though the timing aligns with escalating political pressure from Trump's consequences warning, drawing criticism from outlets like Business Insider Outreach. Wow. Here we go down this Susan Rice. Susan Rice's remark made during a February 20th, 2026 appearance on Preet Bharara's Stay Tuned with Preet podcast focused on her views about corporations, elites, and institutions that she believes are catapulting to pressure from the Trump administration. She warned of a future accountability if Democrats regain power, emphasizing that there would be no forgive or forget approach. Key directive quotes from Rice include a very poignant public figure who has served at nearly the very highest levels once told me, "Revenge is best served cold. The older I get, the more I see the wisdom of that." Boy, she's kind of equating con. What does she say? "I stab at thee." Great scene from the Star Trek movie with the Wrath of Khan, but she's kind of she's Khan, right? A female version. When it comes to elites, the corporate interests, the law firms, the universities, the media, it's not going to end well for them. For those that decided that they would act in the perceived very narrow self-interest, which I would underscore is very short-term self-interest, and, take a knee to Trump. So this is very curious to me, this paragraph here, that what has been their agenda? And we're going to go over a bunch of stuff. I got a stack of stuff. That America and the world is at war with Islam, and we're at war with the left, who want to destroy us. Trump comes into office. Do we have to repeat this cycle? He comes into office because he gets voted because we want the borders closed. We don't want all these illegals in here. We're competing for scarce resources. We're competing for housing. The housing market has skyrocketed. Apartments cost a fortune. It's crazy. Food prices. We're giving CDL licenses to illegals who are killing people. They're killing and raping our children, our people. But she says prominent figures. When it comes to university and media and the law firms, good God, they've had control of the media for decades. But now the tide has turned. Now they want retribution? That now the conservative Christian viewpoint is out there? This is demonic. This is twisted. What do you think? Do we not see what's going on? Don't believe what you're seeing here. Believe us. And we had 4 years of Biden, and we had 8 years of Obama, and that we all regret. But no, it's all in our heads, and now they have to come after us. They're going to be held accountable by those who come in opposition to Trump and win at the ballot box. They can only win if they keep the illegals here and keep stealing our elections. We've already seen it play out. We already know that these election machines had chips in them. Had chips in them to change stuff. Guys, if these corporations think that Democrats, when they come back in power, we're going to, play by the old rules. What old rules? The old rules, and actually it's still the new rule, that y'all want illegals in. You want the whites gone. You're even crapping on the black people. You dumped all those Mexicans in those, whatever nationality they were in Chicago. Because we know Chicago Flips Red community, they're black. And they are outraged. They are upset. So it's not just the whites. It's the American blacks that are being targeted as well. And they never gave a crap about you in the first place. So what all rules are they talking about? They will destroy you, is what they'll do if you don't play by their rules. They're the dictator. They're the ones who are trying to implement our silence. Never mind, we'll forgive you for all the people you fired. Wow. All the policies and principles you violated, all the laws you've skirted. I think they've got another thing coming. They're going to be surprised. Democrats have had a belly full, and we're not going to play by, the old set of rules. I just don't know what those old set of rules are, other than you want DEI hires in the White House, in every aspect of America politics, in every aspect of judicial, for judges, people who are in these positions that have no reason to be there. Case in point, the Potomac River. And I think they did just call in. They finally did ask Trump. I can recheck that, but I didn't check it in the stack of stuff. I thought I read something yesterday. So hopefully that is true, that they have asked for help, because Trump just can't come riding in on the white horse cavalry. They have to be asked for help. But again, I think that he could declare it a national disaster, and he should just be able to go in there and fix it like he did with the wall. If it's going to pollute the water supply, it's a natural disaster. And actually, it's not a natural disaster. Actually, this was a man-made disaster because of incompetence. We're not going to be suckers. They will be accountability agenda. Now, this is all Susan Rice saying this. Whether you're a law firm, whether you're a university, whether you're a media entity, whether you're a big company, corporation, whether you're big tech, you need to play a long game. Not this short game that has been so detrimental. So they're thinking that it's a short game to jump on Save America, because their long game, and they've had a long game for decades, to systematically replace us, dumb down the education. There will be accountability agenda. Companies already are starting to hear they better preserve their documents. So in essence, ladies and gentlemen, they are right now threatening all these companies. They are threatening all of these companies, even before they get elected. What does that mean? You think if a Republican did this, would this stand? This is absurd. This is blackmail. They better be ready for subpoenas. If they've done something wrong, they'll be held accountable. But if not, they're going to be an instance of forgive and forget. Wait a minute. Let me read that again. But this is not going to be an instance of forgive and forget. The damage that these people are doing is to serve to the American people and to our national interest. Yeah, we know what your national interest is. It's to replace us with third world low IQ so you can keep control. You just waved a magic wand and gave all of these people, I've got another in the stack of stuff today. Hopefully we will get to that because I got a lot to go. Is that the Biden administration just gave millions of people a Social Security card before they were even vetted. So hopefully Trump could get around that and figure out how can we go back on that, because I don't even think Biden did it. I think because we know he wasn't running the ship, people. He wasn't running the ship. Somebody else was doing it. It was probably Obama. That's what a lot of people are thinking. Let's get our tinfoil hat on. Maybe, maybe not, because guys, you saw with your own eyes and ears, Biden was not there. These statements were interrupted by critics, interpreted by critics, including President Trump, as threats of retribution against supporters and enablers of his policy. The full podcast episode is available on YouTube for additional context. That is insane. Do we need any additional context to this, ladies and gentlemen? I don't think we do. I think we clearly know exactly what she is saying. She is sending out a message. She's sending out a message that we're going to get power back. God, Lord, help us that we can overcome this. That we can literally overcome this. They do not need to get power back, people. Here we go. We're getting right into it. Why are we under assault? Why is America at war? Why is the world at war with Islam, with pedos, with the alphabet soup? Why are we at war with them? Because they're getting us from every angle. They're getting our children with the alphabet soup, with the woke. The left is attacking us. Biden administration, we are under assault from all of these invaders who practice Islam, and then popping up all of these mosques. It's insanity. Senator Tommy Tuberville says Barack Obama. Yeah, see, there you go. Barack Obama's mass imported Somalians into Minnesota with the purpose of taking over the local government. I mean, we could all figure that out. I've said in previous shows is that they were sending Haitians to certain places, Muslims to another place, Mexicans to another place. I mean, look, coming across the Mexican border, how the heck did the Haitians get there? How the heck did Somalians? Were they flown over? How the heck did they get here? How did they get here? He says this is how Ilhan Omar got elected. And the plan was to import so many more foreigners that they could take over the federal government. First of all, why would President Obama be allowed to bring in 80,000 people from Somalia and put them in one area in Minnesota, which is Minneapolis? And it was all done by plan. It's a third world country, not a simulate, to build their own neighborhoods, to take over the local and state and then federal government with Ilhan Omar. Look, we've seen it happening in Dearborn, but Dearborn is kind of different in a sense that they were, I'm going to say imported, they were brought over by the Ford by Ford to work. So they've been here since the 1900s, the 20th century. And then by the 1930s, 32, they built their first mosque. And we just turned a blind eye. We turned a blind eye. I guess we did. Aren't we supposed to learn from history? What does Islam want to do? They want to spread and subjugate the planet. That is their goal. That is their mission. She's not even a citizen, but she's in Congress. I can't figure out how we've allowed this to happen. I've been asking myself this question too. People that are non-U.S. citizens to be in Congress to help make laws on voting on things. Why are we letting these third world low IQ invaders get into these positions to make laws that govern us, to dictate to us? Case in point, man, dummy. They're already talking about banning dogs. You know they're going to do it over there in Europe, Great Britain, UK. They're already trying to pass bills to not let people take their dogs to the park. Because it bothers the Muslims. I'm going to say it right now. Mark my word. Today is the 23rd, 2006. The second month of the year. The 23rd day. That this is what's going to happen in New York. They're going to try to ban those dogs. It's going to be a slow burn because they're in for the long game. Imar Omar was born in Somalia. She became a naturalized citizen. This should not be allowed. No foreign-born should be allowed to serve at any level in American government. None whatsoever. We also have some judges. I think there's 5 of them, maybe in D.C. Federal judges who are appointed for life, who have dual citizenships. Governing over federal laws, it needs to be overturned, ladies and gentlemen. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says that the Biden administration changed the rules to allow commercial driver's license schools to self-certify. They took away all requirements allowing schools to give illegal CDLs. Democrats tried to bring down America. Are you convinced yet, ladies and gentlemen? Some of these commercial driver's license schools, some of them don't even have a curriculum. Oh, we'll just give you a license. You don't even need to take a test. It's okay if you don't speak English. So what this actually is a CDL mill where you can pay $800 to $1,000 and you don't get any training, and they just certify you and have gone through the schooling requirements. This is crazy.
Pete Buttigieg in the last administration decided there shouldn't be any rigorous requirements to certify that a school is well qualified to train drivers. He said the schools across America, they could actually self-certify. So any of you here in the room could say, I'm going to start a commercial driver's license school. I'm going to certify that I'm well qualified and I can train students in America. Self-certification in the last administration has brought us CDL mills. And what we found through some of our investigation, and we are not done yet, some of these commercial driver's license schools, some of them don't even have a curriculum. Or others that do have a curriculum, it's only a partial curriculum. They don't have trucks or buses to train any of their students. So what this actually is a CDL mill where you can pay $800 or $1,000 and you don't get any training, and they just certify that you have gone through the schooling requirements to then go and be tested. Pete Buttigieg in the last...
We're still continuing down this rabbit hole. Democrats view immigration enforcement as an existential threat. Their plan is to flood the country with illegal aliens to rig our elections. The American people see exactly what's happening, and they're done with it. I hope so, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we are done with it.
Democrats view immigration enforcement as an existential political threat. They've had a game plan for the past several decades that they're going to bring in as many people as they possibly can into this country to systematically rig our political elections by impacting congressional apportionment and by having unsecure election systems that would allow illegal aliens to vote, all while pushing for amnesty. Now, what President Trump is doing, what the American people are doing, is simply saying, no, we're not going to tolerate this nonsense anymore. President Trump secured the border, and he's been deporting illegal aliens just like he was elected to do. And that's why Democrats are so furious, because this is the plan that they have had for a long time. This is what they believe is their path to power.
So I guess if Susan Rice can come out and say, oh, yeah, we get back in power, she's threatening them and all of this kind of stuff with this hubba, yeah. We ain't going to forget, and we ain't going to forgive. We're coming after you. So you better play right now. You better stop playing into Trump's game. So what does that mean with corporations? Does that mean these corporations stop hiring illegals, stop complying with the laws? I mean, what does she mean? What is she saying when she says these things? What is she talking about? What is she talking about? There's so much evidence right in our faces that this is what the left has been planning and have they been doing. And now they are so pissed that they've created chaos in the schools, chaos on the streets to disrupt every chance they could get. Going to court, taking Trump's administration to court every time he turns around because they want to stop. They want to stop the deportations. They want to stop it because they want to keep this. They don't want to give their voter rolls over. They don't want to let the people know all the corruption that has been going on. That say, oh no, these people have never been on Medicaid, Medi-Cal. Oh yes, they have. They're all getting food stamps. They're all getting housing. They're getting the housing that American people should be getting. Nope. Susan Rice says we're coming after you. You keep playing ball with Trump. This is Stephen Miller. He tweets, Democrats voted to defund Secret Service Homeland Security investigations, who partner with Secret Service in all the intelligence and law enforcement functions that support Secret Service. Never before in the history has federal law enforcement been purposely defunded. Now, why would they do this? Why would you defund Homeland Security? Keep America safe. Because they want to keep the illegals here. Do you still need, you need to know more? Do you want to know more? Do you want to learn more? And, and what they're importing too is all of these third world countries, they practice Islam, ladies and gentlemen. You could see it. They're putting up the mosques. They're all wearing hijabis and they're all doing this kind of stuff. It's all of it. And what did the Bible warned us about Islam. Paul the Apostle said Satan would pretend to be an angel of light to trick people. And guess what happened in the year 1610 AD? Muhammad said an angel of light appeared to him in a cave and showed him a new way to God. This is true. This is absolutely true. In Galatians 1:8, Paul said, even if an angel from heaven comes and teaches a different message than the true gospel, that angel should be cursed. Also in Revelation 20 talks about Christians being beheaded. And what religion glorifies the beheading of Christians? You guessed it. It's Islam. Finally, Jesus said in John 16:2 that a time would come when people who kill you, you will believe that they will believe. Am I reading this right? Finally, Jesus said in John 16:2 that a time would come when people who kill you will believe that they are doing God a favor. They think they're doing God's work because they are just as brainwashed. And I think most of them don't go and actually read and learn. They just count on the imams and the dawah guys to tell them what they need to be doing. Or if the women aren't learning how to read, So the women aren't learning, the girls aren't learning. Hell, the girls are being married off at 6, 7 years old. And once again, he was talking about Islam. Islam was created to push people away from the true God, Jesus Christ. When I say the world is under assault, the world is under assault from the left, from the woke group, from Islam. We are under assault from all of them all over the world, especially in Western civilizations that were built on Christianity. Let's talk about Canada's world-class socialized healthcare this morning. They have a program called MAID, Medical Assistance in Dying. It's government-recommended assistance euthanasia. The government will help you off yourself for free. It's the one thing they can manage to do with no time to wait. Need surgery? Get in line. Need a psychotherapist? It'll be a year. Need a psychiatrist? That'll be a year. Need help offing yourself? Sign up right now. Roger Foley has a neurological disease. He asked for home care so he could live with dignity. The hospital said no. Instead, staff offered him assistance to off himself repeatedly. He didn't ask for it. They came to him. He secretly recorded them on tape. A staffer tells him, you can just apply and get on assistant. You know what? You don't have to do it. In some dramatic manner. They gave him a choice, either $800 a day, hospital bill, or death. He's been in that hospital 9 years fighting for basic care while they keep asking if he'd rather just die. Christine Gunther, a paraplegic veteran. I can't even read or talk. She asked Veterans Affairs for a wheelchair ramp. Their response, if you're so desperate, madam, we can offer you a ramp. She asked for a ramp. Alan Nicholas was hospitalized because he was, you know what? I can't read some of these things, so y'all are going to have to look at it with me. Because if I say these words too many times, YouTube will flag me. 1 month later, the hospital helped him apply for assisted death. Not for depression, but for hearing loss he had since he was 12. His family says he refused to use some implants that would help him. His brother said Alan was basically put to death. A disabled woman asked her psychotherapist for help with a bruised hip. The psychotherapist suggested euthanasia. It's coming, people. This is coming. This is coming to America. Then there's Canino Vasilon. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. 26 years old, type 1 diabetes and seasonal depression, not terminal. His family fought off MAD approval once in 2022. He got better, moved home, was improving. Then winter came. The depression returned. He found Dr. Ellen Webby in British Columbia, one of Canada's most prolific MAD providers. His mother says Webb coached him on what to say to qualify. His parents weren't notified. He was euthanized December 30th, 2025. They found out days later. He was 26 years old. Now here's the kicker. 76,000 Canadians have been killed through MAD since 2016. 1 in 12 Canadian deaths is now government-assisted offing themselves. Who's dying? According to the Canadians' own government data, 95.6% of MAD deaths are, guess what? White! The millions of immigrants they're importing from South Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, are they getting them to do it? They're not signing up for this program. Native-born white Canadians are dying at the massively disproportionate rates here. Canada is importing a new population while offering the exiting one assisted you-know-what instead of health care. This is what socialized medicine becomes. Treating you is a cost. Killing you is saving. And they want to add mentally ill patients next year. They're talking about disabled infants. I'm a little worried about their hockey team today. Somebody said, but good God, people. Now, they're importing the low IQ. So these governments, some of these governments are still in place that were in place during Biden administration. They made these pacts. I think they all made a pact, and they were going to do this. They're going to do this. They're going to bring in all these people and transform these countries. If you still think I'm not telling the truth? Do you think this is just me going out on a crazy tinfoil hat? No, this is happening. We have our own senators. You just saw a senator I just played a moment ago and said they are doing this. This was a plan. We've had 2 governors I just put up, 2 senators, people in Congress saying this is systematically happening. This has been their plan. Obama helped engineer it as well. Obama helped engineer it. I tell you what, we can all get great joy out of seeing the retards in the media put in their place.
The taxpayer has to constantly fund Victoria Police taking me to the courts for just more nonsense, offensive behaviour charges.
Is it nonsense though? Because the taxpayer wasn't happy with what they saw at that rally.
Well, you don't speak for the taxpayer. You're part of a corporate entity that is anti-Australia. So you don't actually speak for the Australian people. You're a nefarious agent of the mainstream media. So I think you'll find the average Australian does not want thousands or millions of illegal Indian immigrants staying in the country. And that's what we were protesting against. There were thousands of self-entitled, despicable people that think it's their right to be a part of our nation. And they were protesting outside Tony Burke's office, who, might I add, deported healthy, wholesome white families from this country. Shut up, you fat dork. Film this fucking loser. Look at these freaks. You're a fat, disgusting dork.
Nice.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway,
Tony Burke,
listen.
Time you're out here, there's drama.
There is always drama, but it's not seeking attention to me, it's seeking attention to the issue. And the primary issue in Australia and the whole Western world is white replacement. That is the primary issue. That's the only thing we actually want to talk about. And you're looking at your phone, you're looking at how to change the subject, because the media do not want to talk about this subject. They don't want to talk about white replacement. We want to reverse the process. We don't want Australia turning into a third world country. We don't want it turning into India. We don't want it turning into Sudan. We want it to remain Australian. That is the primary issue. And you always want to change the subject and attack the man. You don't want to play the fucking important game. You want to attack the man. You don't want to attack the idea. You don't want to touch on white replacement. You want to touch on my personal behaviour.
Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty?
Thank you, done.
Oh yeah, fuck you. Fuck you. You're scum. They don't want to talk about the big issues. What they want to talk about is, are you guilty or are you not guilty for this minutia that doesn't matter? We protested foreign immigrants that are demanding that they stay in the country. And we protested that. We said you shut the fuck up. We said that was self-entitled, that it was disrespectful, that it was anti-Australian. Yeah. And we said an ancient Australian proverb. Fuck.
Nice.
The tax.
Nice. Again, the world is under assault. The world is at war with these governments complicit in replacing them. This is Australia, ladies and gentlemen. And here he is. He was arrested because he was protesting against people who are demanding to stay in that country. Nick Shirley's interviewing a woman who is from the UK, and they're in Dearborn, Michigan. And listen to what she says.
What brings you out here today?
Well, I want to support the Americans in their free speech.
And where are you from?
I'm from the UK, yes. Okay. I'm from Wales.
So what are you doing here in Dearborn, Michigan right now at a protest about the rise of Islam here inside of Dearborn, Michigan in the United States?
Given that I'm from the UK, I've seen the fall of Europe, I've seen the fall of the UK. There's 82 Sharia courts in England and Wales, and I do worry that it is becoming too popular too fast, and we need to definitely have conversations about it.
Why do you think Islam is becoming so popular right now? It's the fastest growing religion in the United States.
I would say birth rates. They outbreed us in every aspect.
And what did you see in your home country, in the United Kingdom and Wales, with the rise of Islam?
I see white guilt and colonizer guilt. I see people self-censoring and the government not standing up for the people that have been there for generations.
How many more years do you give the United States until it's a bigger issue here with Islam and Christians per se?
3 to 5 years. But
Wow.
for me, I saw it when I was 12 or 13, and I left the UK when I was 18 for this exact reason.
And how do women feel in Islamic towns like such as the one you left, or that was growing to become an Islamic town?
I felt extremely unsafe. Actually, we had police officers come into our school and say, this area of Wales is now going to be a no-go zone, so
Wow.
don't go there if you're a female. And I thought that's ridiculous. I come from a long line of Celtic people, and we should feel safe walking through our towns and our villages.
So do you think eventually women won't feel safe walking through their own towns here in the United States?
I already feel unsafe walking through here. I have 2 bodyguards with me today.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't feel safe here at all.
Wow. Wow. That's Dearborn, Michigan, ladies and gentlemen. Check out Islam Invasion on X. They post excellent things. So over the weekend, we had the big prayer in New York in the street. So my guy David Wood posts, Muhammad, this is what Muhammad said, I prohibit prayer in commonly used roads. Muslims, let's all pray in Times Square. And that's what they did. And this is from chapter 141, what has been related about what is disliked to face while performing salat. I don't know what that is. Salat, or to perform salat. Okay, so it's saying the prophet salat from being performed in 7 places, and here's one of them. You're not supposed to do it. The dung heap, the slaughterhouse, the slaughter area, the graveyard, commonly used roads. So they went against their own prophet. They went against their own prophet, is what they did. And when they were out there, and here they are. Here's a picture of them. This says Times Square looks like the Middle East. This is unbelievable. And there's a picture of them. And to me, it was just for show. This guy right here, he was supposed to be praying. There's a bunch of videos. Maybe I can find the clips. Maybe we'll do some tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see what's on the agenda. But somebody come up and was filming him while he's in a row. They're all in a row and they're praying. They're doing their thing. He's heads up. He's in his phone. He's not even praying. He's just there for show. And then he's waving them people away. Like, no, don't be filming me. Whatever, right? Because you're not playing. You're just there. None of them. None of these people. I guarantee you he doesn't even read the Quran. Does he even know what it says? And this is Sneeko, which I think, I don't know what the hell's going on with him. Unbelievable. Again, they disobeyed the Quran. And they were out in public, like the Pharisees. Look at us pray. We're just praying in public. They're like the Pharisees. They're hypocrites. We all know the story. Jesus said, "Don't be like them. Don't be like the Pharisees on the corner, going just praying in public so everybody can see how wonderful they are." Do Muslims allow cultural diversity in Mecca too? Or do they just want to shove their BS down our country's throat? This got 1 million views. And here we go. Now I have to have the music turned down because I can't. But this is an AI generated. What is that music? I like mustaches. Oh yeah, we don't want to hear that. That's just garbage. But look at this. No, they would not allow this. They would not allow this. To me, I think this box here, it's just idol worship. They all hover around it and kiss on it and touch it like it's a god or like it's some kind of deity. It's insane. It's insane. But I thought this was hysterical. No, they're not going to let them do that. Muslims cry a foul. Islamophobia over Congressman Brandon Gills. I like this guy. Put him in charge. The Congressman Brandon Bills Gill's bill, say that 3 times, to deport the Somalian Muslims who refuse to learn English and assimilate. Here, 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 here.
50%, roughly about half of the Somali immigrants in Minnesota, even after being in the U.S. for 10 years or longer, do not speak English very well. That is a real cultural problem in the United States. We brought in a lot of people. We need to allow our society, our civilization to cohere, to assimilate, to become one people, all of us, that we can all become fully American, and that's not happening. So I introduced this bill that would ban immigration from Somalia. For 25 years, I think that is a very fair and moderate response to what is, I think, a serious crisis, not only from the welfare fraud, but simply from the fact that there are so many people in this country that have not assimilated and need to. 50%.
And they need to go. If they don't assimilate, bye-bye. Bernie Sanders opposes the SAVE Act bill by saying, I don't know how to get my birth certificate. Wow. Bernie Sanders here, guys, is a multimillionaire, and he's all about taxing the rich. No, it's not about taxing the rich, ladies and gentlemen. When the left wants to tax, it's going to be the middle class. We're the ones that get shim-shammed. Trust me on this. Things are getting real every day. In Sugar Land, Texas, a statue has been erected of the Hindu deity Hanuman, a half-man, half-monkey. The statue, the 3rd largest in the U.S., supposedly represents transcendence. Texas is being taken over by Muslims and Hindus right before our eyes.
Hey guys, Alex Newman here. I'm standing in front of a big...
Look at this statue. It's huge.
Pagan statue here in Sugar Land, Texas. It's a Hindu deity of...
Good Lord, look at that thing. In America, ladies and gentlemen, in Texas, the 3rd largest in the United States, represents transcendence.
Some sort. And all over here you see temples, pagan temples. There's a lot of Islamic activity here. A lot of people here have been talking about the new Islamic town they're building here in Texas. But there's also this giant statue, apparently 90 feet tall, one of the tallest in America.
It needs to be destroyed.
It's the Swaminarayan Temple, ESO Houston. Thanks for visiting. And there's another big, huge statue right over there.
Good Lord.
So lots of pagan deities popping up here in Sugar Land, Texas. Hey guys, Alex.
So we're allowing this in America, and we want God to bless us. And we're allowing these idol worshipers to invade our country, to dictate to us if we can have pets, or we could say Jesus is Lord without being arrested. Okay, talk about retarded stuff. Gavin Newsom to a black crowd in Georgia. I am like you. I'm a 960 SAT kind of guy. I can't read. Good Lord, guys. Really? He needs to be arrested. All the crime and fraud going on in California. For Pete's sake. Americans are demanding a cutoff of tax dollars to Islam after it was confirmed $4 billion has gone to spread Islam in America, and especially in Texas. Now, I have talked about on other shows that our tax dollars are going to fund our own demise. All the fraud that's just in Minnesota. All that money going into NGOs, going to other countries, going to terrorist groups, funding these protests. It's all for our own demise. It's insane. It's Lex Luthor level evil genius. $4 billion has gone to spread Islam in America. 330 mosques, rapidly expanding 650 plus Islamic nonprofits. Why are they getting nonprofits?
Texas is ground zero for the Islamic conquest of America. We are deep into a 1,400-year Islamic immigration conquest pattern, a patient, relentless strategy of settlement, infiltration, and eventual dominance. The Muslim Brotherhood's 1991 explanatory memorandum entered in federal court calls it a, quote, civilization jihadist process to destroy the West from within.
Wow.
That plan has been capturing Texas for over 35 years. We now have over 330 mosques. CAIR calls them, quote, our infrastructure. Erdogan calls them, quote, our barracks. At least 650 Islamic nonprofits channeling influence. Dozens of Islamic scholars and banks promoting Sharia compliance finance. More than $4 billion in taxpayer funds routed to Islamic entities since 2017.
Wow.
Our own money fueling our demise.
Wow. Our own money fueling our own demise. She took the words right out of my mouth. This is insanity. This is off ourselves, because I can't use the S word. This is systematically offing our own selves if we don't stand up and do something about it now. What were the Crusades all about? We stopped them. We stopped them. And it can be done. I'll tell you what, Tim Burchett, he's just been on it, guys. Y'all need to pay attention to him on X, and he has just been, he's been a hero, man. He's been on the front lines fighting this. Every day he posts something. Representative Tim Burchett says NGOs are being created overseas. They give them deceptive names like Feeding Our Children. But really, the money is being used to fund terrorists. He made a bill to stop 40 million taxpayer dollars a week being sent to the Taliban. Democrats blocked it. We are sending currently 40 million a week to the Taliban in Afghanistan. We got veterans here. We got families who need homes. We got people struggling for jobs because we are competing with third world low IQ invaders. And you're giving $40 million a week to terrorists. There's around 1,000 of these NGOs that are created. It's got a great name like, Feed the Starving Children or something. We probably put close to $1 trillion of your tax dollars into these things, and then it flows into the pockets of the terrorists, and I guess right back into people like Omar, Newsom, Spitzer, Johnson, Tampon Tim, Fry, all of them. They are all getting kickbacks from this. We don't need to be paying the Taliban $40 million a week, but the president's aware of it. And last week, the Senate Democrats blocked the bill on the Senate floor. If you can imagine that, you've got to wonder where their loyalties are. It's unbelievable. Remember this guy, Democrat Congressman Steve Cohen, says we need to get immigrants into the front lines of local law enforcement because natural-born citizens in this country represent the worst of America. This is the propaganda. Now, have y'all ever heard of a thing called per capita? If there's more white people, there's probably going to be more crime for the white. But who's more incarcerated? I mean, we all know the stats. We know who's committing the crimes here. Wow. That our own natural-born citizens in this country represent the worst of America. These people really hate you. And they want to arm illegal immigrants to exterminate you. And this is him saying it if you don't believe me.
We need people working in the front lines.
I want you to hear every word of what he says because the volume's really low on this.
We need people working in the front lines and local law enforcement to protect our citizens from the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst are not the immigrants. The worst of the worst, records show, are native-born Americans. We need people.
My God. What propaganda is that? We need third world low IQ with weapons? Who practice Islam? My God. All right, man. Jaw-dropping betrayal exposed. Did we need any more exposure, ladies and gentlemen, or have we had enough yet? The amount of Social Security numbers issued by Democrats to illegals doubled every year. From 2021 was 270K. 2022 was 590K. 2023 was 964K. And 2024, my God, was 2 billion. You know why? 2 million. I'm sorry, 2 million. Because he knew, they knew, oh, we better act fast. We better get as many in here as we can because we might lose. We might not win the House back. They got licenses and taxpayer health care. Elon was right.
Immigration gave a work authorization document to illegals just 5 months after they filed for asylum. That document allowed them to work while they waited to hear whether their asylum request had been accepted or denied. So they could work as an illegal, knowing it would take years before their case was heard. The Immigration Department mailed them a Social Security number. No interview, no proof of identity. Just put it in the mail. Here's your number. In 2021, DOGE says 270,000 new aliens were issued Social Security numbers, 590,000 in 2022, 964,000 in 2023, and 2.1 million in 24, right before Biden left office. DOGE also discovered that 1.3 million aliens are now receiving Medicaid. Millions received driver's licenses, some registered to vote, and DOGE says some actually did vote. Try and square that against Democrat claims that Musk is destroying Social Security and cutting Medicaid. He's not destroying. He's weeding out people who don't qualify. Who is really guilty of misinformation in this case? It is not Elon Musk.
I mean, you see some of the crazy stuff, like where money from FEMA, which is meant, FEMA is an agency that's meant to take care of Americans in distress. And a bunch of their money was being sent to pay for luxury hotels in New York for illegal immigrants. And that was happening even after the president was elected, even after he signed an executive order saying that needs to stop. So we actually made sure that money did stop going, because obviously it's outrageous that American taxpayer money is spent on luxury hotels for illegals. But you have to say, like, why was that being done? It was because the Democrats were trying to import voters, basically.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah. And that's also why there's no voter ID needed. In fact, in California and New York State, you're not allowed to show voter ID. Mm-hmm. Isn't that seem insane?
Insane.
Yeah.
I say that as a New Yorker. It's insane.
Yeah, insane.
And it violates the entire Constitution and the principles behind it.
Immigration.
It doesn't seem insane. It is insane. It is insane. Why would you not want voter ID? Oh, well, black people don't know how to get to the DMV. So then a bunch of black people came out and said, oh, what? I have a license. What are you talking about? I have to use my ID all the time. Get on a plane, go buy cigarettes, go buy booze, go whatever. Do this, do that. So then that wasn't working. So guess what? Then they all of a sudden they had to come up with some story. Y'all need to pay attention when the left comes out. When one of their spews isn't working, right? Because the blacks being too retarded to go places. Now, what did they do? Now it's women. They're going to attack women. Well, women, if they were married and they can't change their name, they can't. One of them actually said, well, they couldn't change their Social Security. Nobody changes their Social Security. Their name. Oh, but they can't go and change their name back, so they're going to have problems with voting. Oh no, they can't find their birth certificate. They just come up. They must have a think tank, ladies and gentlemen, a think tank that sits around and comes up with this stuff. And guess what? Guess what? A lot of Americans are buying it. It's beyond comprehension. Every day I'm astounded. I'm astounded at how much retardation is actually happening. We need to send them all to Retardistan. See this guy? This is Senator Warnock. He stood at the site where Alex Preddy was shot by federal immigration agents and called it holy ground. saying Preddy's blood cries out from the earth for justice. Literally called it holy ground. That this idiot, Preddy, who we all saw the video, interfering, he came with a weapon, and previous, week or two before that, he was kicking one of the SUVs, broke the tail light. He was a paid activist, agitator. He showed up at all of these places. He was on speed dial with these people for their logistics on where to go. So he was going where the action was with the immigration officers and Border Patrol. He put himself in these positions to interfere with law enforcement operations. And guess what? It ended his life. But no, this guy, Senator Warnock, says it's holy ground. And that Preddy's blood cries from the streets. But did he ever visit Athens, Georgia, where Lincoln Riley, his own Georgian constituent, young nursing student, brutally murdered by an illegal immigrant, received 0 visits, 0 holy ground speeches? There you have it. That's him. His own state, this girl was brutally murdered. And today, we saw at the beginning of the show that Trump made it December, I think it was yesterday, 22nd, that it's going to be Lincoln Riley Angels Day. But this moron says it's a holy...
There really are no words. It was a deeply moving experience. As I said, I felt like I was standing on holy ground. Alex Preddy's blood cries out to us.
Wow.
We are better than this. We can do better than this. There really are
Yeah,
no...
we could do better than you because you're a DEI hire. I already know it. Preddy's blood cries from the ground. Look, God will set judgment on Preddy. Pretty. But I don't know, guys. It's not looking good. It's just on fast value. It's not looking good. He spouted hateful things, horrible things, the things that he was doing. It's the ideology. He was misled. He was misled. He was one of the sheep that was just led right off the cliff. Right off the cliff. We have a story out of Canada. Teachers unions. Does teachers unions value and support their Christian members? I don't think so. This guy says, my wife and I are Christian teachers. We're fired from teaching for refusing to celebrate alphabet soup with kids. The union dropped us. They wouldn't take our cases to arbitration. Then they tried to have us silenced at the labor board. They failed. The fight continues. And this is the guy. This is him. I don't have an image of his wife. But they're fighting in Canadian court because Canada, guys, now Trump put a stop to it. But I'm going to tell you what, right now, if the Dems, the liberals, which the far left has taken over their party, if they get in office again, all of this comes to America. All of it. I'm going to force your speech for the pronouns and all of it. Canada is doubling down, man. They are wanting schools to teach this crap. And wow, we need to pray for Canada because I know a lot of them and then the people out in Australia as well. They've all had it. They've had it. And pray for this to him and his wife, that they are successful. They need to sue the crap out of them. But I don't know, man. It should fall under religious freedom rights, but I don't know Canada law. We got a new Disney Pixel release coming out of what leftist women really want.
Defund the police! Defund the police! Defund the police! Defund the police! Defund the police!
Oh my god. They're trying to break into my home. Why aren't they answering? 911!
Liberal logic. Watch the story of how Denise gets what she wants and reflects on her decisions when push came to shove.
When Denise gets what she wants, and then she can reflect on the decisions and the consequences. This is a another trailer for Disney Caliphate. Now, I had to speed it up just a little bit because I didn't want to get flagged on, copyright. But here we go.
They say convert, pay up or die, and they look you in the eye, knowing you believe the lie that inclusion was everybody's friend, when the truth now we all know that was the beginning of the end. You didn't fight back, you failed to resist, and now the country is under their fist.
That is our country under the fist. I'm having to stop it too. I'm concerned about getting flagged.
No sun, no fun, no sky. All the music now must die. No more thinking thoughts, Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate?
Man, and that's exactly what's happening. Look. Man, whoever did this just nailed it.
Have one wife, 3 or 4, when they're knocking on your door, asking if you're reciting the Quran, telling you you're gay, and stoning you to death. No matter if you're a woman or a man, you didn't say no, you failed, so it seems, and now you are under the Islamic regime. No laugh, no dance, no art. Kill animals through their heart. No more thinking thoughts. Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? They steal your daughter for their wife and imprison her for life. Saying she's old enough at 9.
Wow.
They will exterminate
He said she says she's old enough at 9. I hope y'all caught that.
your dog, a scorpion to your frog. Don't complain, just keep saying you are fine. It's far too late, you're way out of time. About 10 years ago, that was the line.
Wow. Wow.
No Christian or infidel, the whole place feels like hell.
Wow.
No more thinking thoughts, Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British caliphate? Hey, from the cities to the town, all the people wear a frown as they hear the horrendous call to prayer. Getting elected into power every minute, every hour. By next week, a Muslim will be your mayor.
Dang.
No more thinking thoughts, Sharia council, schools and courts. Welcome to Britain under the brand new caliphate. You're no longer free. Cover your face, your hair, your feet. You're now enslaved in a British caliphate. Don't you love the British
Wow. That was like, wow. It said coming soon. Look at that. Coming soon, guys. This is crazy. Coming soon. Look at that. Look at that. Wow, somebody had asked, could they change this video to a Canadian caliphate? Canada caliphate. Wow. Yeah, we need to also change it to America caliphate. Wow, this is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, what did y'all think about that? That was insane. That was just insane. Look, it's just a dystopian looking area. I mean, cuz look, guys, if maybe it's destined that this is what's supposed to happen. Unless we can pray and have a revival and God maybe steady his hand, but we all know, and we all read earlier, that what does Islam do? They cut people's heads off that don't want to convert, give up Jesus. This is what they do, and this is what they want. If y'all aren't convinced, I don't know what else to tell you. Either you can go do your own research. This is happening globally, not just here. And I think these powers that be got together many moons ago and said, yeah, let's do that. Let's just invade them with these Islamophobia's monsters that cannot assimilate and will not assimilate. They can't coexist with us. It's just a fact. They need to all go back. So we need to pray and see what happens with that. So we need to continue the deportation. We need to also either call your congressman. In fact, I need to do it. Like, I don't know what, maybe I need to look more into what's happening here. I'm in the great state of Tennessee, and I know we've passed some laws, and we don't want none of this nonsense, but I want to make sure they're keeping to that. We don't want this. We don't want a bunch of mosques. We don't. And why in the world are we giving them taxpayer money to build mosques? Good Lord. So they can use it as a front? They use our own laws against us, by the way. Because now, oh no, you can't go in. That's their religious place, their holy ground. You can't go in there and see what they're doing. Really? What did the terrorists were doing in Gaza? They were hiding in churches, they were hiding in hospitals, and they were hiding in schools. They use own rules against their enemies. That's where they're held up. All their fighting forces were held up on these places. It's pathetic and sad, but this is how they do it. This is how they do it. Well, I don't know what more I could say about this. This has just been crazy. The world is at war with Islam, literally. Now, they defeated them when they were during the Crusades and things like that. We defeated them. We defeated them. Real quick, I'm going to give us hope. Give us hope. When 500 knights crushed 26,000 Muslims, the battle that saved Europe. And their leader had leprosy most of his life, could barely pick up a sword, blood oozing out of his body. Now, I'm going to put this link in the description, and I encourage you to go watch it. It was well done. It's a 28-minute video. It was excellent. I watched it yesterday. It was just, I was inspired. Against all odds, 500 heavily armed knights faced an army of 26,000 Muslims. and turned the tide of history. This legendary battle wasn't just a fight, it was a clash that would decide the fate of Europe. Witness the strategy, the courage, and the sheer brutality that allowed a tiny force of knights to break an overwhelming army. From the thunder of hooves to the chaos of the battle, this is the story of valor, techniques, tactics, and the turning point that shaped an entire continent. It shaped an entire continent. Now, the Muslims were on the move. They were coming to conquer. 26,000 of them. I never knew about this story. I was like, wow. I mean, I knew we won the Crusades, but to get right down into it, I mean, I didn't get to study, probably because of my laziness, or I wasn't taught about European history, only pretty much ours, which I love our history, by the way, coming over, the Pilgrims, and then, us building a nation, and then the Revolutionary War, and, and so on. Nobody wants to talk about the Civil War, by the way. We just want to ignore that and move on. It was a stain on the country. But the Revolutionary War is so inspiring. But this, ladies and gentlemen, the faith in God and Jesus, it was just incredible. So I'm going to put this in the description in the video. Please go and watch it. It's all inspiring. It's telling me we have hope. Against all odds, we can conquer. We can prevail. In the name of Jesus, we can prevail. And we need to get rid of those idols in Texas, by the way. I saw this, I think it was Friday, but I didn't put it in. I did have it in my stack of stuff, but we went really long. And I wanted to make sure I got it in there today, covering we're at war with the ideology, Islam, other religions as well. We are under assault. And we allowed the third largest statue to be built of a pagan god? Pagan god. Blasphemous. We are not to be worshiping idols. And we should not be allowing it on American soil. At all. Period. Thank you for joining me. Like, share, and subscribe, because what if there's not to like? And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, the learning never stops, no matter how old you are. The learning never stops. And always remember, never ever be